the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church held absolute authority over Europe, controlling people's lives in both spiritual and material aspects. One of the most controversial practices was the selling of indulgences, certificates sold to people claiming to grant them forgiveness for their sins and shorten their time in purgatory. This practice exploited people's vulnerabilities and fears of eternal punishment, and the poor were especially willing to sacrifice what little money they had in hopes of salvation. Religion had turned into a business, and forgiveness had become a privilege that could be bought. In this historical context, a young man named Martin Luther emerged. He came from a humble family, but possessed a bold mind and a heart full of faith. Luther was a passionate clergyman, but he could not turn a blind eye to the rampant corruption within the church. When he first heard of the indulgences, he was outraged by the injustice and exploitation by the church, especially of the poor. Luther was not willing to remain silent. In 1517, he decided to take action and call for change. He wrote the 95 Theses, a list of harsh criticisms against the church and the sale of indulgences, and nailed them to the door of the Wittenberg Church. This act was the spark that ignited a massive movement across Europe and inspired millions. Luther wasn't just an angry man. He was a man committed to change, convinced that what he was doing was right, despite all the obstacles. The church's response was fierce. Luther faced threats of excommunication and even death. He could have retreated and surrendered, but he chose to stand firm. He was subjected to several trials, and the church tried to force him to retract his ideas. But each time, Luther stood courageously and said, "Here I stand, I can do no other." These words were a testament to his unbreakable resolve. Despite all the threats and challenges, Luther did not give up. He continued to spread his ideas, and his message began to resonate with people. They realized that religion was not just about rituals and indulgences, but a direct relationship with God, and that the church had no right to sell forgiveness. This struggle helped launch the Protestant Reformation, which forever changed the face of Christianity and ended the absolute dominance of the Catholic Church. Martin Luther's success wasn't just in abolishing indulgences, but in inspiring millions over the centuries, teaching them that they have the power to reject injustice, no matter how strong it is, and that change is possible through patience, struggle, and sacrifice. Motivational lesson. Martin Luther's story teaches us that one should not accept a bitter reality if it is based on injustice and exploitation. Change starts within you, from your belief that you can make a difference, even if the whole world is against you. You will face challenges, authorities may threaten you, and some may try to extinguish your flame. But if you have a strong belief that what you are doing is right, do not hesitate to stand firm. Reform does not come easily, but it is possible. Start with yourself. Change what you can around you, even if the world seems unchangeable.